anything, I usually take my die out and I try to mark my margin. So I'll use the blue color pencil to mark my margin. Why is that important? Because it's very hard to see the margin if we don't mark it. So like this, I can see how the fit is, and if the margin of my coping, it fits all the way on the margin of the prep. Okay, this looks pretty good. All right, but let's say I always want to check inside, so I look at inside of my coping first of all to see if there are any little bubbles or anything that might interfere with how the coping is seated on the die. Okay, and I kind of see that in this area here there is a little bit of bubble. It's very, very small. So I'm gonna use a very small burr to remove that. And you all have those round burrs. I don't know if you have it this small, but you have the little carbide round burrs that you can use. So I'm just gonna go okay, so I didn't do too much, very little, and then try it again. Okay, all right. So let's say if I want to see how the fit is, I'm gonna spray a little bit of this quick check spray on my die, which is not working very well. Right, and then I'll do the same thing. I'm using my framework. I'll put it on. I'll just squeeze a little bit, and then I'll look inside. You see where I have marks inside? So that's where, if I have those marks and let's say my coping doesn't fit well, then I can use a round burr, a little bigger head of the round burr, to grind just in that little spot. And again, when we do the grinding, very little grinding, and then try it. Don't go grinding too much, because then your coping is gonna be too loose. Okay? And again, try it. And what we're trying to achieve is for the coping not to fall off the die. So if we turn it upside down, the coping stays in. All right, then when we finish this, the fitting is good, we're gonna move to the next step, which is to get rid of the excess alloy. So first, where we had the sprue, what's the most important thing when we start grinding the metal? Is to have a caliper and to measure the thickness of the metal, right? So we don't make a hole. So I'm gonna put my die in and my framework, and now I'm gonna close my articulator. And I'm gonna look where I need to grind. So if we look at it, the metal, it's very, very close to the opposing. So we might need to grind on the occlusal surfaces, but always when we grind, have to be aware not to grind too much and always measure. So we're gonna take the caliper. In your toolbox, you have two types of calipers. You have the metal and then you have the wax caliper. So make sure you use the right one, okay? And check your metal. So we have plenty of room. We can grind a little more. So on the occlusal surface, if we get to point 5.6, we should be all good. From time to time, you might need to change your burrs to have a thinner burrs to get in between, and also to reshape a little bit your collar. So now what I'm looking at, and I'm paying a little more close attention, it's to this area here where the connection is. So I don't know if you guys can see it on the bench right here in between. If you look at it, the connector between the pontic and the abutment is pretty thick, and we kind of have a occlusal contact. So I'm gonna reduce that a little bit. also we have to keep in mind all the time that the porcelain doesn't like a sharp surface, right? So if we have any point on your coping that it looks like it's sharp, round it off, okay? Okay, so we can continue and do the same for the Pontic and the other abutment, okay? So this is what we're going to concentrate on doing today. And your final framework should look very clean inside, no voids, no bubbles. The metal should be finished nice and smooth, no sharp edges, okay? And then we have enough clearance, enough room to build up the porcelain. And if we turn our models upside down, the bridge has retention. It doesn't fall off, okay? So good luck and